Good morning and welcome to Lanny Has a Podcast. I'm Lanny and this podcast. This morning, our special guest is the former mayor of Houston, but to me, once a mayor, always a mayor, Mayor Annise Parker, who's also running for the county judge position here in Harris County. Good morning, Mayor. How are you?
I am doing very well. It's a rainy day in Houston today.
It is a very rainy day. Let me ask you a question because I've been wondering about this. It's been so long since we elected a judge, it seems like. What are we looking for? What is the profile of the judge of Harris County? A lot of people say, what is the difference between the judge and the mayor? And so I'll open it up to you.
Okay, there's a more basic question than that. Half the time people want to know what courtroom I'm in. And this is not a judge with a jury and a gavel and that sort of thing.
Right.
This is, in a normal state, it would be called county executive. And it's a presiding officer over Harris County Commissioner's Court, which is the county government for Harris County. Every county in Texas, whether it's 500 people in Loving County or 5 million people here, has 4 commissioners and a county judge. It is like the mayor in that you're the presiding officer. You have countywide responsibilities, but not like the mayor because you actually have 4 commissioners who have bigger budgets and more direct authority. The mayor hires and fires all the department directors. The mayor hires and fires the police chief. In the county, there's an independently elected sheriff. They're independently elected constables. So you are doing local government, but without quite as much oomph behind the position.
Well, I wanted to call you last week because on the news, last week the news came on, and here we go with the news media. But the controller for the city of Houston said the city doesn't have the money for the budget. Then the mayor came on and said the city does have money for the budget. And then the next week the county judge came on and said the county doesn't have enough money for the county budget. So who do we believe? Because you've been both controller and mayor, so you know what these battles are like.
So I'm going to reframe it slightly differently, and that is that neither government has the money to do the things that they think are priority to do. And so they're going to have to trim and cut and squeeze it in. Unlike the federal government, which can just print money, every local government must be balanced in their budget. And so both are going to try to figure out how to work it in. Now, the mayor's budget for the city of Houston, the only way he got it balanced is he is talking about a garbage fee and moving expenses off the general fund and into what's called an enterprise fund. So he's doing some he's working hard to get it balanced, but it's not a balanced budget in the sense of we have the money to do the basic services. He's trying to finagle it a little bit. Working hard, but I understand where the controller's coming from. I understand the mayor's responsibility there.
Did you ever have that sort of knockdown drag out between as when you were the controller and the mayor at the time that you were the controller? Did you have those differences of mathematic issues there?
Yes, we did. We didn't have any knockdown drag out fights. I tried to work cooperatively and and when I was mayor, I'm a budget hawk. So there really wasn't much reason for the controller to pop me on things like that. I will tell you a story. The mayor's office and the controller sit side by side once a month, or the mayor's finance director and the controller sit side by side once a month and make a presentation to council about the budget. And the person who was the acting city controller actually became the finance director for the mayor when I was elected controller. And that very first meeting, I was presenting a report that she had authored and had her name on it, and she disagreed with everything in it because she had another job with wearing a different hat. That's the way it works.
I know I don't know when it became, when you thought to yourself, I want to become the judge of Harris County, but I want you to tell us what's going to happen on day one when you're sworn in as judge of Harris County.
The first responsibility of any executive is to assemble a team to get the work done. And so I'm going to need to be working from the election to swearing in, figuring out who's on the current staff, who I need to keep, who needs to be replaced, and have the right people in place. then I'm going to be working very, very focused on flooding and the flood mitigation. If people have been paying attention, they will notice that we've been falling behind in the projects. And one of my concerns is that you just can't, and you and I can't go into the city or the city county's website and see where these projects are, what the status is, where they're in flight. As citizens, as residents of this region, we need to know these things too. So I'm going to focus on trying to add transparency to that process. Uh, and then I'm going to do a lot of, I'm going to be assembling, of course, transition teams and putting together citizen groups to help me figure out, what's working, what's not working. I've already met with my future colleagues on Commissioner's Court, and I'm meeting with the citizens now, but it's different once you're in office, like because I'll actually have access to the data that I don't have today.
Well, in 20, I had dinner with a friend last night who lost their home in Hurricane Harvey in 2017, and we talked about she lived on the west side, and it wasn't the flooding that got her; it was the floodgates that opened up, and the Addicks Fairbanks, and the floodgates that opened up along the Sanderson River that damaged so much of the property in Kingwood. But that was controlled by the Army Corps of Engineers. And Ed Emmett said to us that we were reporters down at Transtar that night at midnight when it happened, and he said, "I've called the White House, the Vice President, the Governor, the Senators, the Congress. No one has the right to tell the Army Corps of Engineers what not to do," because he wanted to give them instructions on, if you're going to open the floodgate from the reservoirs and the levees, you got to open it very, very slowly, or you'll wipe all these homes off the foundation. So that was his dilemma in 2017. So where are we now on trying? It's a crazy question. We hope to never have a disastrous flood like Hurricane Harvey again. But what if we do? How do we control the floodgates to make sure we don't flood the people in the lower lands?
So we are not, the situation hasn't changed. And yes, we hope we don't have another Harvey. It was the worst rain event recorded in American history. And you cannot prevent rain generated flooding from Harvey, but hopefully we won't be in the situation again where we have human controlled flooding, as they're trying to prevent flooding in one area. But it is still under the control of the Army Corps of Engineers. And frankly, I think the situation has gotten more fraught because there's been so much turmoil at the federal level, so much loss of experience and expertise, and I don't think anybody knows who's on first there. So it's a challenge.
And finally, the Pride Parade is being moved because of FIFA is going to be in town, taking up much of, I guess, downtown. So what's the latest on the Pride? When's it moving to, and will it still be down on Smith Street in downtown Houston?
I believe the route is still the same, but it's going to be early. So it's that first weekend in June, I believe June 6th.
Oh, instead of the last
So
weekend of June.
yes. So
Okay.
it's just going to be early, and the earlier we can do it, we always hope for a slight, maybe it'll be a degree or two cooler when it happens.
One can only hope for
One can
that.
know, yeah.
Well, what's plans for this summer? You're going to be out knocking on doors all summer long?
Not so much. Running really hard through the election. Early voting is going on as we speak, and the election day is May 26th, which is the day after Memorial Day. And the campaign will continue. We'll continue to talk to voters, but the intensity goes down till about September because people aren't paying attention. And then September comes and everybody pays attention, and it's a mad dash to the end.
Gear up for that. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining. Lanny has a podcast. I'm so happy to have you on board, and I can't wait to see you throughout the summer. And we live in the same neighborhood, so Debbie and I will be seeing you guys around the hood.
Thanks. Good
Thank
to
you.
see you.
Take care.